Islands. K-Man Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The K-Man Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Canaan Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Monday, the 16th day of December 2019. I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. I know some of you would have been frustrated over the service provided by one of our local telecommunication companies on Saturday in particular. But sometimes we also need to realize, even though, we're paying premium prices for the service that we received here, but at times we have to also realize that there is life without a telephone. There is life without internet. Life must go on. There is life without WhatsApp as well. But I know people were frustrated, especially those who needed to conduct business during that period, or those who may have been experiencing an emergency or otherwise. But I trust that despite that occurrence, I trust that everyone had an enjoyable weekend. For those of you who are in the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we want to urge you to please be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're a cyclist, whether you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, remember that the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, I want to wish you a happy birthday. If you have celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday. And if you're going to celebrate one in the upcoming days, we want to wish you one in advance of it occurring as well. And we want to urge you that whatever you do it in moderation. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we again want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where you can leave us a text message or send us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. There are no guests in the studio this morning, so I will be conversing with you for the entire show, and we certainly welcome you to call in if you have anything that you wish to discuss. If you have any questions, if you don't have the answers for them here, we will try to get those answers for you as well. If you simply just want to convey season greetings to friends and families, whether they may be here in the Cayman Islands or elsewhere, please feel free to do that as well. So, no guests in the studio, but we will certainly have open mic. We again want to extend congratulations to the country, the nation of Jamaica, on Miss Tony Ann Singh being crowned Miss World on Saturday night as well. So we have Miss Universe, Miss South Africa, and now we have Miss World. Tony Ann Singh from Jamaica. I believe this is the third Miss World that has been produced by the nation, by Jamaica. Jamaica continues to have a prominent place on the world stage, not only when it comes to beauty contests, but also in athletics, as we know about as well, and in many other areas, also in terms of their intellectual ability as well. Produce many scholars, many doctors, as well. So again, congratulations to the people of Jamaica on another accomplishment, or another world-renowned accomplishment as well. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, I don't know if you noticed it, but I noticed a slight decrease in traffic this morning, and we may continue to see that during the course of the holidays. That may be attributed to the fact that some people are on holiday, break from work, and may not be on the roads, but it may also be a sign in terms of the impact that our immigrants have here in the Cayman Islands, those who work here but are not necessarily permanently attached to the Cayman Islands. When they do go home to visit family and friends during the holiday, we do see a change in the amount of activity, in particular on the roads of the Cayman Islands. And I noticed it this morning, and I believe as the weeks go by, you will see more and more of that as well. And of course, how do those people get to travel from the Cayman Islands to their countries of residence? They do so by way, in many instances, majority of time, I would say 99%, they're traveling by airplane as opposed to traveling by boat. And I say that to say, in the Cayman Compass today, their year in review, they talk about the safety concerns over the new jets that have blighted Cayman Airways and the problems that we have. And I believe this morning on the international news, I did see where sometime this month they will make an announcement as to whether they will continue to produce the aircraft that has been involved, the 737 MAX 8, whether or not they will continue to produce those. And of course, we're still waiting for an announcement as to when they will resume flying as well. So many people are relying on the airlines to fly them out of the Cayman Islands during the holidays. And I want to contrast that to the Cayman Islands in the 1960s, and the Tradewinds newspaper, December the 15th of December, 1966, Jets Saturday. And the article speaks about the rebuilding of the Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman, and the fact that it had progressed to the point where on the 17th of December, the first landing of BWIA's Boeing 727 Sunjet from Miami would take place at about 10 o'clock in the morning. And that would, the article speaks about the fact that it would be initiating Cayman into the jet age. So from 1966, we entered into the jet age until 2019, where there are question marks about the Boeing 737 MAX 8 and what's going to happen with them. So we went from the 727s, progressed along, 727s 1966, 737 MAX 8, 2019. The article goes on to speak also of the fact that British West Indies Airways, which is BWIA, started operating flights in and out of Cayman in 1955. So for all of you history buffs in the Cayman Islands, if you want to know when BWIA started operating flights in and out of the Cayman Islands, it was in 1955. And what did they use during that period? An aircraft called the Vickers Viking aircraft. The Vickers Viking aircraft. It says that the company introduced the Vickers Viscount. The company introduced the Vickers Viscount turboprop aircraft in the Caribbean in 1955, and that it has served the Cayman Islands well until the present time, when the need for more efficient transportation due to the speedy development of the islands has made jet service a necessity. And it goes on to say that BWIA at present, and I have to scroll down, so I ask you to bear with me, goes on to say that BWIA at present has 3 Sunjets and 5 Viscounts in operation. Says that at 10 a.m. flights will continue on its island hopping tour to Trinidad, and the flight which originated in Trinidad will arrive in Cayman from Jamaica at 12:45 p.m. and continue on to Miami, Florida. So it was hopping on from Trinidad to Jamaica, on to Grand Cayman, and on to Miami, Florida. What else does this article talk about in relation to that? It says, it is gratifying to note that since the opening of Owen Roberts Airport, it was called Owen Roberts then, not International, all flights in and out have been successful. And they say that it is their sincere hope that this safety record will continue. So we've always had quite a good safety record in the Cayman Islands when it came to aircraft. It says a review of all Pratt & Whitney aircraft turbine engines by which the Sunjet is operated reveals no known cases of engine suffering foreign object damage while in operation in any aircraft, or any aircraft failing to continue to provide the thrust necessary for continued flight. So they got into some technicalities into this article as well. And it goes on to say that foreign objects damage has caused many disasters with new types of engine. Goes on to say that the crews of the Sunjet will be the most highly trained possible. The 2 pilots, a pilot engineer, and 4 stewardesses will have a total of more than 700 hours of training and instruction behind them to bring Sunjet passengers the best in airline transportation. Says the first BWIA Sunjet went into service on the 15th of January, 1965. This aircraft has brought the jet age to many Caribbean territories previously served only by propeller aircraft because of airport limitations. So there were airport limitations which prevented jet service to many Caribbean islands, and we, like others in the Caribbean, upgraded our runway so that we could accommodate the jets as well. It says goes on to say that the Sunjet carries its own stairway. That was a new thing, but we were back to the day and age where some stairways are still pushed to the aircrafts, not only in the Cayman Islands, but elsewhere as well. It says it carries its own stairway. It says at full loads, it can operate in and out of 5,000-foot airports. The cruising speed is more than 610 miles per hour. Altitude range 15,000 to 37,000 feet. Fuel capacity 7,650 gallons. It goes on to say that BWIA's inaugural flight was made in a Lockheed Lodestar from Trinidad to Barbados on the 27th of November 1940. So BWIA operated a Lockheed Lodestar in 1940. It says the company celebrated its 20th anniversary on the 27th of November last. An article. Okay, that is not important there. What else do we have in relation to it? And, and for those of you who are stamp collectors as well, they did have a first day cover stamp to celebrate and to recognize the introduction of jet service to the Cayman Islands as well in 1965. Folks, I think it's time for us to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
During the 1960s, a Mr. Orrett Connor came to Grand Cayman from Jamaica to work as a schoolteacher. After recognizing the need for an agriculture society, he set about starting one. Mr. Connor, along with 10 Caymanians, attended the agriculture show in Jamaica. The group was treated well by the Jamaicans and were able to learn much, including seeing the stores where excess produce were stored and the benefits of their agriculture show. After returning home from the Jamaican Agriculture Show, Mr. Connor, along with 15 Caymanians, started to meet on a monthly basis at the courthouse near Hogstye Bay. The meetings were held to discuss the growth of local produce and create the rules and regulations upon which the Cayman Islands Agriculture Society would be born.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced courtesy of Mr. Charles Lindbergh Eden, The History of Agriculture, 50th Annual Agriculture Show magazine.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Your sale, your choice at Vat Motors is back with the best Christmas sale on the rock. You can save, upgrade, or get cash back on new Fords and Toyotas, SUVs and trucks.
It is your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $6,000 off select vehicles during December. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. Vamp Motors. Drive home your Christmas wheels today.
Radio Cayman 3 to 6 mix on the weekdays. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, serving the community for 45 years. Don't take chances with your family's future. Call Denise Brown at 814-7229 or Michael Webster at 925-5433.
Every day.
Every day.
All the time.
All the time.
Also brought to you by Merengue Town.
It's time to feel the rhythm. Time to feel the vibe. It's time for Merengue Town.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio, so sharing articles from the Trade Winds newspaper. Try to keep them as close to the date, the current date, as I can. So I'm sharing with you from the 15th of December, 1966. Today's the 16th of December. No, of course not 1966, but at least the particular day, the 15th, is pretty close to the 16th. And sharing with you the first landing for the jet, BWIA's Sunjet in the Cayman Islands. And the article also goes on to say that when the aircraft arrived in Grand Cayman, that the crew, captain and crew, followed by the Cayman passengers, will disembark using the rear door and the plane's own stairway to the terminal, where they will be interviewed by Mr. Ernest Panton. Of course, Mr. Ernest Panton was the assistant administrator. And then it points out that the captain and crew will then be presented with plaques bearing the Cayman Islands coat of arms. It says that everyone on the flight, including in transit passengers, would be presented with first day covers of the special stamp issued for the opening of the jet age in Grand Cayman, and says that these stamps would be for 1 shilling, and 1 in 9 stamps as produced have bearing the pictures of the Sunjet depicting the present and a picture of the schooner R.L. Hustler. So it had a picture of the Sunjet as well as a picture of this schooner, the Hustler, which was built by Mr. Roland Archibald Borden and launched on the 8th of April 1931 after 9 years. It was built by Roland Archibald Borden and launched on the 8th of April 1931. Goes on to say that after 9 years of service, the Cayman Islands was to the Cayman Islands. It was lost at sea in a hurricane on the night of October the 21st to 22nd, 1940, after leaving Colon for the Cayman Islands. That would be Colon in the Republic of Panama for the Cayman Islands. It says her owners were her builders and the Borden brothers, Lawrence and Audley. So that we'll talk more about the Hustler later on. But there was a picture showing the Sunjet as well as the Hustler, and I would venture to say that was depicted there to show where we have come from schooners to Sunjet as well. There's another article here. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to read it to you, but this one is important, and when I read it to you, you would swear that I am reading from a current newspaper published in the Cayman Islands as opposed to a newspaper published in 1966. And it had to do with, find it, blow it up. Let's see. It has to do with public beaches in the Cayman Islands and the fact that people were talking about us reserving areas of public beach, for the Cayman Islands as well. I don't believe that I'm going to have enough time to share it with you now, but we will certainly share it with you again. And as a result of those concerns, we did see stretches of beach being reserved, a stretch of beach being reserved for the use by the Caymanian public. And of course, here in 2019, we're still fighting for access to beach. We see that there's a court case. Those 3 ladies who have been pushing for it, there's a court case pending that will be coming forward in January of next year as well. And we hope and we trust that they're successful with that. And we hope and we trust that everyone will rally their support around those 3 ladies, just like we have done with other topical issues, issues of national importance here in the Cayman Islands, because that is one as well. That involves our existence as a people when it comes to our ability to utilize our beaches here in the Cayman Islands. Folks, time for us to go to our 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news with an open line for you to call in.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
On the 6th day of Christmas, Foster's gave to me a $1,200 Kimpton Seafire Resort and Spa gift card. Shop today only to be entered to win a $1,200 Seafire gift card. Brought to you by L'Oreal Paris. Purchase specially marked products to enter the Foster's 12 Days of Giving. Visit us in store or online. And check us out on social media to see all of our sponsors, the daily prizes, and the 2 grand prizes. Free groceries for a year. Learn more at fosters.ky.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Cayman's new Coast Guard relaunches newly refurbished Niven D. Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander Leo Anglin tells CID-TV when the boat hit 10 years old, it was time for a refit in Seattle.
Having this refit allows us to apply one more tool in our toolbox to meet our state requirements, As a result of this refit, this puts the vessel back into service for another 10 years under the Coast Guard.
The governor and the premier went on a tour of the new boat, along with the crew of the Niven D, to test out its worthiness. Visiting members of the Royal Navy have been on hand to help train Cayman's new Coast Guard members. And a senior pensions officer has been named Chief Officer's Choice. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego reports.
Chanel Gay Brown grabs the Chief Officer's Ministry of Employment and Border Control for September. Under the Deputy Governor's Award Program, Ms. Brown receives the award for developing exceptional leadership. The senior pensions officer closed over 169 cases in 2018 and consistently settled more administrator cases per month than any other officer in the pensions unit, as noted by nominator and Deputy Director of Pensions, Amy Wollenston. Ms. Brown is praised for undertaking the coursework to earn the Certified Fraud Examiner qualification without any financial support from the government. She's also praised for filling in the gaps in the department due to staff shortages and her consistent willingness to go beyond her job description to explore ways in which to expedite the unit's processes. Ms. Brown said the recognition definitely took her by surprise. However, she says she feels honored to know that the department appreciates her continued efforts, and this award is, quote, a true testament that hard work pays off. She explains that her love for the work she does goes beyond the role for so many reasons. This latest Chief Officer's Choice Award is the fourth and last for September. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
In regional news, the opposition People's National Party says Jamaicans should be concerned about the country's sharp drop in the rate of economic growth to 0.3% in the second quarter of the fiscal year. Mark Golding, the opposition spokesperson on finance and public services, highlighted, quote, at a time when Jamaica is exiting the IMF program and the country should be moving forward with confidence, the engine of our economy is faltering. He goes on to say that growth has slowed to less than 1 in 4, leaving the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with a failing grade. He says alongside the paltry growth performance, fear is gripping the land, crime is out of control, with murders and other serious crimes even higher than last year. He says, quote, the dengue crisis continues with public health services in a dismal state, adding that government has also acquired a dismal track record for corruption. With prosperity being an illusion for many, the opposition says, quote, the people will be looking for better in 2020. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jonathan Izard. Student protests have broken out across India after police broke into the campus of a prestigious Delhi university to end unrest over a controversial citizenship law. Students at universities from India's northeast, its west coast city of Mumbai, and in the south are showing solidarity with students of the Jamia Millia University in Delhi who accuse the police of using excessive force. China's foreign ministry says the English Premier League football player Mesut Ozil had been deceived by fake news when he criticised Beijing's policy of detaining Muslims in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. Özil, a Turkish-German Arsenal player, raised the issue on social media, leading Chinese state television to pull a live match featuring his team. The Chinese President Xi Jinping has expressed strong support for the Hong Kong police following 7 months of clashes with pro-democracy protesters. Mr. Xi made the comments at a meeting with Hong Kong's leader Carrie Lam, who's in Beijing. China's Premier Li Keqiang told Ms. Lam she must end what he described as the violence and chaos caused by the protests. The US envoy to North Korea has dismissed an end-of-year deadline set by Pyongyang for American concessions to secure a peace deal. Stephen Biegun, who's visiting South Korea, said Washington had no deadline, only a goal, and the door remained open to an agreement. A trial involving one of the Philippines' most prominent journalists has restarted in Manila. Maria Ressa, the co-founder of the news website Rappler, is accused of defaming a businessman. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
This season, Vigoro is stocking something for everyone in our 2 garden centers. Christmas decorations, terrariums, succulents, ceramics, blooms, orchids, bromeliads, garden sculptures and accessories, mobiles and garden furniture, water fountains and wall art, and even fairies for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Vigoro on Agricola will be open on Sunday, December 22nd, 11 to 5. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 6 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 81 degrees. Relative humidity is 87%. Barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and rising. The wind is east-southeast at 9 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78. Synopsis indicate moderate to fresh winds and rough seas expected through the next 24 hours as the pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean tightens. Radar images show isolated showers mainly south of the Cayman area, which are slowly drifting towards the west. Another forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s today and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water for today and tonight as well. We're presently at a low tide, and the next high tide will be this afternoon at 3 minutes past 1, and a low tide again tonight at 7:59. The sun will set this evening at 5:49 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:53. And the outlook is calling for moderate east to southeast winds from tonight as a cold front enters the western Gulf of Mexico and reaches the Yucatan Peninsula by Wednesday morning. A slight increase in the chances of showers is expected over the next few days in response to the wind shift. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Superstitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Superstitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Superstitch, 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
It's time for more winners and better prizes this Christmas. With Kirk Freeport's $40,000 sweepstakes, you could win one of 3 $5,000 cash prizes or a daily cash prize of $1,000 just for shopping at your favorite Kirk Freeport store. All purchases of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. There's even a special Rolex watch prize draw on January 2nd and loads of other great prizes to be won. More winners, better prizes every Christmas with Kirk Freeport's $40,000 sweepstakes. Full details on kirkfreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Support our tourism.
Did you know that there will be no impact to 7 Mile Beach and no dredging in Hogstye Bay for the cruise berthing and cargo port project? Any potential damage to 7 Mile Beach was, is, and always will be a deal breaker for government. If there was any evidence that 7 Mile Beach would be harmed, the project would be stopped, regardless of how far it's gone. Truth matters. Know the facts. Visit supportourtourism.com for accurate information.
Support our tourism.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Do you ever have those days when you have to get a super early start, or you're out late and want something fresh and healthy to eat? Subway has now opened their 4th 24-hour location for you early birds and night owls. Subway at West Shore Center on 7 Mile is now open 24 hours. So now you can grab any of Subway's fresh menu items any time of the day at 4 convenient locations. West Shore Center 7 Mile, Countryside in Savannah, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers West Bay. Subway. Eat fresh.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Traffic is steady but flowing on Shamrock Road as you get closer to the Linford Pearson Highway. Busy traffic. Slight delays expected. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, traffic is moderate in both directions, and moderate flow of traffic on North Sound Road. On Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing moderately as well, and light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Looking towards the downtown Georgetown on Edward Street in front of the Georgetown Post Office. No issues there as traffic is moving on pretty good. And a good pace of movement of traffic on Shedden Road. And on Crew Road, steady but flowing traffic. That's very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning. Buckle up.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You can't wear that dress to the party.
But why?
I said you're not wearing that.
Why don't you make more money? We can't go away for the holidays because of you.
Domestic violence isn't just physical. It's verbal, emotional, sexual, and psychological abuse. To understand the signs of domestic abuse, visit the Cayman Islands Crisis Center website at cicc.ky. If you or someone you know is suffering from domestic abuse, call our 24-hour crisis line at 943-2422. We believe you. We can help you. The Crisis Center also provides a 24/7 safe shelter for women and children. And for all victims of abuse, men, women, and children, Estella's Place is a walk-in center on Eastern Avenue, ready to help you. Visit cicc.ky for more information. And remember, love shouldn't hurt.
Show them you know them this Christmas with the hottest designer sunglasses, jewelry, and watches from the Sunglass Man. Follow them on social media to see the newest styles from brands such as Ray-Ban, Oakley, Dolce & Gabbana, and more. And don't forget to tag Babe. Receive a hot pink beach towel when you spend $200 or more, and every $50 you spend gives you one entry to the Pollen Pick Your Present giveaway, valued at $50,000. The Sunglass Man Cayman Bay opens 10 a.m. till 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and the Island Plaza late night shopping starts December 18th. Merry Christmas.
Need a prescription filled but you're on the go? No problem. Healthcare Pharmacy is now on WhatsApp, 329-7313. You can request your prescription medicine or refills and even a prescription transfer from another pharmacy. Simply WhatsApp a photo of your prescription for us to fill till you arrive with the original. Have questions? Our pharmacists are happy to help. Collect your filled prescriptions at Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square or Grand Harbor. Go on, WhatsApp us on 329-7313. Healthcare Pharmacy, we care about your health.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio today. Open line for you to call in and to have a discussion with me, ask questions, make suggestions, whatever. Or Disappearing Beach. Tradewinds newspaper, the 15th of December, 1965, I believe, 1960, I'll tell you. Says here is how it reads. It says, whilst we are wholeheartedly in favor of development of these islands, we are distressed that effective measures have not been adopted to ensure an adequate stretch of the West Bay Beach is reserved and developed for public use. The government should announce immediately plans to preserve and develop the remaining small stretches of the beach that it still owns. Let me read that over. The government should announce immediate plans to preserve and develop the remaining small stretches of beach that it still owns, as so that we Caymanians and their guests have somewhere for enjoying the beach. And I apologize for my slowness in reading this, but the print is a little bit blurred as a result of the reproduction of these this paper. So, I again apologize for that. So, they wanted to preserve the beach so that guests, Caymanians and guests, have somewhere for enjoying the beach and for sea bathing. Says, let us not fool ourselves in the position of Jamaicans living on this lovely north coast of their island and yet having to drive for miles for a swim. So they're the newspaper article saying we don't want to be like Jamaica, where they have the beaches on the north coast, but they have to drive somewhere else to swim. Now, I'm not sure how accurate that is, and I will leave that for you to determine. It says, in addition to to firmly setting aside the land in perpetuity for a public beach, some organizations or the government should build a new bathhouse. This would not cost a great deal of money, and if supervised by a caretaker, opened at certain specific times and locked when not in use, it would not suffer the fate of the old bath house. I don't know if many of you remember that old bath house. Old bath house was somewhere in the vicinity of where the Holiday Inn was built as well. It says proper facilities for changing and showering after a swim would be great for the bathers as well. It says that whilst on the subject of our shoreline, we wonder what is being done about enforcement of the laws against dumping rubbish in the sea. For example, Hogstye Bay, a fine little cove in the center of town, is full of muck and rubbish from the roadway and elsewhere. Just take a look about any day, and the violations are there for anyone to see. By enforcing this law, we can not only do much for the beautification, but can do much to prevent dangerous predatory fish lurking near our shores as well. So the call was preserving the beach for Caymanians, building a bathhouse, and enforcing the laws when it came to garbage as well. There's one here on inadequate docking as well, and this should be interesting, and I will share that with you at some point in time during the course of the show this morning as well. But we do have a caller, so we're going to the phone lines. 2 callers we have, so we're going to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, OC. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. Nice cool weather.
Good.
Yes. OC, speaking about the garbage disposal, if my memory serves me correct, just a few years ago, I would say that the government or the Legislative Assembly increased the import duties on cargo by 2.5% to somewhere in that range. For the simple reason to get money in advance to get rid of the garbage that these extra import that people are bringing in. More for the government to be more efficient in collecting the garbage.
Right, and they eliminated, they did away with the garbage fees that that individuals pay.
Correct. Yes. So right now we have a problem up here, you know.
Okay.
Because just recently after I came up here, when we took over the bakery, it was a dumpster across the street. That the police the police uses it. The Panama Canal, whoever people go down there just to pass the time in the evening. It served them, and also I have witnessed where this new farm or something opened up on the bluff, that whoever is in charge of there, they make it a point to bring down their garbage and use it. So I didn't take any pictures of that, them doing it, but I witnessed it. Now, the brains up here decided to remove the dumpster from there. You know, so we don't have any way to put the garbage that comes from the bakery, the garbage that comes from the restaurant right there, and also the police don't have any way to put theirs. So I understand over the weekend that the people in charge up here want all the people into this area to pay for a dumpster. And I wouldn't know what happened to this money that was increased
But you noted what I said earlier, that for individuals, individual households, you no longer pay a garbage fee, but businesses continue to pay a garbage fee. And I believe that obtains in the BRAC as well.
I understand that. But why have a dumpster for 15 years in place and now all of a sudden remove it? The police station pay? They're a business. And believe it or not, I've also witnessed people come and bring their garbage there too from other places. So I don't know how we will correct that, but I don't see it just fair for one or two businesses to pay for the rest of the community or the people in the area. I don't think that's fair.
Well, I think the practice here in Grand Cayman is that if you're a business, you have the option of renting. I forget what they call it, from the Department of Environmental Health. You can rent that. It's placed on your property for your exclusive use, and it is picked up at regular intervals, and you pay for that service. Or you can develop your own area for your garbage, and it is brought and picked up. But I do believe that what obtains for Grand Cayman obtains for Cayman Brac, in that the businesses have to pay for garbage collection.
Well, right down the road where they have the MLA building, they have a dumpster down there.
Mm-hmm.
Now one little building got a whole dumpster down there. Now you say, will that make sense?
I can't speak to that.
I can speak to it.
But what are your feelings in relation to businesses having to pay for garbage collection?
My feelings is, I would say our garbage at the bakery is like a minimum, almost, because very seldom that we have any bulk stuff to go there.
But even at a minimum, do you feel businesses should be paying?
Yeah, but the police should be paying too.
In government, you have a process whereby services that are provided by one government entity to the other, there's a way of recording that and paying it. Now, of course, if the police pay, they're paying it to environmental health, which is the same government. But there are accounting rules for that to be addressed.
Yeah, because the people, the residents pay for the police garbage collection. Do you think that's fair?
Well, whether or not it's fair, that is the case that it is now. That businesses, government, because of the issues in relation to the collection of individual fees, there were so many people who were delinquent on it, so that if you have apartments, if you have a business, you now pay for the collection of garbage. It's only private residents that do not have to pay.
But see, if the businesses around here pay for it, and other people coming from other areas dumping garbage in it, you think that's fair too?
Well, that's probably one of the reasons why they removed the dumpster that you said that was there. That's probably one of the reasons, because all and sundry were using it, and as a result, they didn't have to pay any fees. Those that were required to pay, quite possible.
Well, why they increased it by 2.5%?
What
2.5% all the imports in Cayman Islands?
I'm not sure I'm not sure what the percentage is that it was increased.
You know, see? Well,
but
I mean, come on now. Come on.
Lord Len, if you're a business, there's certain costs that you have to absorb as a business.
See?
That, it can't be a free ride for everybody.
See?
I'm here.
Right now, something with the statement what you just made. Either you tell it a big lie or you're handling the truth recklessly. In
terms of what?
Because you don't understand the figure on the imports of what it came.
I'm not sure that it's 2.5%. If I knew that it was 2.5%, I know that it was increased. I'm not denying the fact that it was increased. I'm not denying the fact that it was removed from individual households, and I'm not denying the fact that businesses still continue to have to pay for that service. I'm not denying any of it. I just can't say, yes, it's 2.5% because I don't know. You could be right. I'm not disputing that.
But what about the concessions that is given to these big oligarchs that come in and they open up all these hotels and what have you?
What
about that?
That's a different story and a discussion for another time. But I have another caller behind you. So we're going to have to take the commercial break and take the caller after the commercial break. Thank you, caller. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is ready to stock your kitchen this holiday season with delicious fresh local meats, beef, pork, and goat available now and cut to order. They have you covered on side dishes too with fresh seasonal fruits and vegetables straight from Rankin's Farm. The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is located at 3032 Shamrock Road at Rankin's Jerk Center. Open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Call ahead with your orders on 949-4083. Make it a happy holiday season with the Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm.
Your sale, your choice at Vat Motors is back with the best Christmas sale on the rock. You can save, upgrade, or get cash back on new Fords and Toyotas, SUVs and trucks.
It is your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $6,000 off select vehicles during December. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. Vamp Motors. Drive home your Christmas wheels today.
More and more experiential gifts are becoming the norm. This year, make gift giving a unique experience with tickets for the 2020 Cayman Arts Festival from February 13th to 22nd, featuring a world-class lineup including Christine and Margarita Balanas, the Rodney Marsalis Philadelphia Big Brass, and the Lana Janjanin Trio. Early bird tickets priced at only $110 for season tickets. Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries at caymanartsfestival.com.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines as promised. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
How are you? Your friend Steve McPhail.
Yes, good to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're reading those old excerpts from the old Trade Winds newspaper. Let me ask you this. What do you think that the editors were asking the government to do back then when they said to preserve the beach?
Because at that point in time, we were seeing a lot of the beach property being acquired by non-Caymanians. There are articles in, I remember seeing some articles in here or adverts in there. Last chance to buy beach on Cayman Beach, 100 feet, and the prices that were being given for it and everything else. So at that point in time, we saw that the beach properties were all falling into the hands of non-Caymanians. That's my view.
Yes, beach properties. You got the magic word because the government own a lot of beach properties down there, and one of the first disposal of the land was to Benson Greenhall for the 99 years for £100. And most all of the land in that area was government owned, even where Safe Haven was.
Right.
Maybe the Mackinacs bought that,
right.
leased that, and they didn't develop it because they could not get a freehold.
And then we eventually had a government swap of that, as well.
Yeah, and then turned
a few years.
A successive government turned it into a freehold and gave that land. I would say gave it away for a few $1 million. And the government owned a whole lot of land down there, and including where you say where the old bathhouse was, all that where the
Holiday Inn.
All that land was owned by government, and all that land was 99-year lease.
Remember all the old borough grass that used to be around there?
I remember that. It was where the older people used to go to have picnics and parties in the night, in the moonlight, and so forth. And the government didn't preserve that. Now, in answer to the call by the Trade Winds newspaper, the JCs bought some property down there, and that they thought would be a public beach. But what they did, like you said, like the Trade Winds said, they did not give it to the Caymanian people in perpetuity. They gave it to the government, and so it became government land. It's crown land. It's a difference. It's a difference. The land that's different, but owned by the people of the Cayman Islands, because crown land is belong to Her Majesty. It belongs to the sovereign, and now the government could sell that land. They could do anything they want to do with it. That's why they made the deal with DART to develop that property, because it belongs to them. It does not belong to the Caymanian people in perpetuity.
Got you.
Okay, so that's the difference. Now, the other thing I just want to ask you: once the duty concession, the increase in duty had anything to do with this disposal of car tires?
I believe that for car tires you pay an additional duty or tax for its disposal. Now, whether or not that money is ring fenced for disposal or whether or not it is put into the general revenue of the Cayman Islands is another story altogether.
Yeah, but there's a problem with the dumping car tires, right? The disposal of car tires.
I think they have a tire shredder up there as well. It may have been upgraded because you have different types of shredders. One that can shred regular tires and one that can shred the steel belted, what we call steel belted tires. And most tires that you get now are steel belted. And you have to be able to remove those steel belts from it. Otherwise, to be able to use the rubber for any other purpose, there are some countries who use the rubber residue from the shredding. They use that for paving roads and things of that nature. I believe they have an updated one up there now as well.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up, that I started this conversation with you is because just on Saturday last, I discovered that there is a new business up on Shaden Road, where up on Crew Road, where people are bringing in used tires now, and bringing in selling used tires, and I don't think that's a good thing. allow used tires to come into the country when we have so many other tires that we have to get rid of, and then you're bringing in more. We're bringing in more garbage to dispose of, and I wonder how did that happen when you have this disposal problem with used tires in Cayman, and then you allow people to import used tires from another country now to clutter up the dump more, and how much Julie they've been charging those used tires for their disposal. Hello?
Well, yeah, Doc, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is the safety measures of those used tires that have been used up on another country and coming here now? Well, what's the safety measures?
Right. And
has that been looked at in allowing importation of used tires?
Good point. I stand to be corrected, but I thought that there was some move towards companies doing what you remember they used to recap tires, what they call recapping tires. And I thought that I had read something about some company starting that in the Cayman Islands as well in terms of recap tires, but I don't know where I got. But if I could switch gears, and I know we do have another caller, but I want to ask you something, Doc, that I've never had the opportunity to ask before. We see Guyana now has hit what should I say? There's going to be a boom in Guyana as a result of the oil exploration and the oil finds in Bermuda, and Exxon Mobil is huge in there. We see now they're going to develop a sovereign wealth fund for Guyana as a result of that, so that the monies can be placed there. What do you think about a sovereign wealth fund for the Cayman Islands? Despite the fact that we don't have any natural resources, we still do generate a lot of money for the government of the Cayman Islands. Yes, we have our pensions. Yes, we have the trust fund, environmental fund. What about the idea of a sovereign wealth fund?
I think I am 200% for that. You remember the late Bo Miller wanted to have such a fund, or a fund corresponding to a sovereign wealth fund for the people of the Cayman Islands, just in case something happened, that the people could have this money for their use, because the government is the people. And I think that should be. I think we should follow steps, and we should do that because I was so happy when they had a hurricane fund for all the people in the Caribbean, and all the countries contributed to it. So if they can have the foresight to do that, I don't understand why we can't have a foresight of having a sovereign fund for the Cayman Islands, because we don't know what will happen in the future with our offshore financial services.
Precisely. Doc, I want to thank you very much. I think I'll be seeing you later on this morning, right?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
okay.
Later on this morning, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Doc. Let's grab the other caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, not bad. I'm glad that you said what you said about the public coming out to support the three ladies for the matter that comes up to court on the 9th of January. We have been on this thing for quite a while, from 2001. We've tried with successive government, but nothing happened. So we have no choice now but to go before the court to seek leave for a judicial review. What is coming up on the 9th is a directions hearing.
Okay.
But instead of the people meeting us up in the supermarkets and saying, oh, you ladies are doing this and thank you and whatnot, that is not enough support. They must come out and help us. I know that they're behind us, right? And they must not be shy about this. So let's keep your fingers crossed and hope that we are successful, because if we do that, this would be a historic moment for us. And the next thing I would like to mention, when they're doing their development, planning also passes for every development, every 200 feet, there must be, a 6-foot path left to the beach.
Okay.
What has been happening? they're not adhering to this. If you look at a lot of those, the buildings go up, and then you don't see anything done for the accesses, and they should not give them the permission until they have that access registered.
I see. Okay.
And it should be, it goes by dedication, but after you use it for a time, for more than 20 years, it does take its right to be a prescriptive right. But when they're entering it on the register, that says, it should say for the public or the people of the Cayman Islands in perpetuity. Not just for the dedicated 12-foot access for the public. Make it more stronger that when we're gone, it is there to remain forever and ever.
Precisely. Can you explain to our audience what a direction hearing involves?
A direction hearing involves, what direction we must go in. That's why it has the meaning direction. And it will set a time for submissions by each side, leading up to the real hearing of the judicial belief or the judicial review.
Yes.
But what is, if you bear with me, I'll just give you a brief history.
Sure.
We had a hard time in getting legal aid, and that was one of our delays. We had to fight it till we finally got legal aid, and they don't give you that much. So there needs now, in the Cayman Islands, needs to be a wider fund, because these issues are going to come up from time to time. And it's not what you or I are going to gain from it. It is for the benefit of the country.
Yes.
And also, when we listed this matter for June, it's supposed to be an ex parte hearing, but inadvertently, somehow it got on the court list, because all judicial reviews under what you call Order 53 are done ex parte. You get your leave, and then after you get your leave, you go on to hear the real thing, which is similar to what the CPR got, right? Because, they go into their hearing now.
Right.
Anyway, when that came out on the list, someone from the Attorney General's office opposed it, instead of them trying to, concede and say, let's get this thing registered, because, as you know, in 2017, the prescriptive law was amended in Section 9, where it says any person could make an application to register a prescriptive right, or any government department, and so on. So what I'm trying to say here, they had 2 years when that amendment was made. After the applications went in, or the affidavits went in, they had a chance again to try to, work with the concerned citizen group and try to get these accesses registered. And despite that section being there, they have still not done anything. So it leaves no choice but to go where you think the matter could be solved.
Is the Attorney General's office a friend or a foe in this particular case?
They are a foe.
Okay. Very interesting.
So, like you say, it'll be very interesting, and let's hope that we do it. But there's another matter that I'd like to mention to you that is very important. But at this time, I don't have the time, and I think it also needs to be aired. You could call me. I think you may have my number. So could you?
If not, I know how to contact you. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
thank you very much, caller. Folks, time for a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. One of our listeners has written in and said, good morning, Mr. OC. Blessings to you and the staff of Radio Cayman. I would like to share this video that I took this morning of the continuous pile-up of junk, which is opposite Union Street, Frank Sound, North Side District. Says, after the cleanup crew moved on from this district, the red car in the video and a very, very small portion of other items were placed there. Since then, it has grown and continues to grow. And even this past weekend, that car to the end of the video was added along with other items as well. This is a crying shame that persons would do this. Should it stay there, and more so right along the edge of the main road during the festive season? It's not at all fair to the cleanup crews. Furthermore, it appears as though many members of various districts only wait until this time of the year to do this. I wish there was CCTV there to see who is responsible for this and demand that they clean it up or fine them. Absolutely disgusting. Talking about CCTV cameras, if it, this is Union Street and Frank Sound North Side District. I know that there are CCTV cameras, I believe, at the junction of Frank Sound, but probably not there. But yes, that is a situation, and we've heard other people call in about the stuff that has been put on the roadsides. And the Department of Environmental Health, they have been very proactive in publishing the dates that the pickup would occur in each respective district, but yet people seem not to adhere to those dates and continue to put it out there, which is frustrating for the drivers. And I do know that the drivers who pick up the regular garbage on the roads, that they will communicate with their colleagues and let them know that there is still stuff left to be picked up. I know that I had been told, or we had been told, that if you called into the Department of Environmental Health, they would come by even after the date has already passed for your area, that they may pick up stuff. That did not necessarily prove to be as accurate as I thought it was, and as a result of that, I didn't put any additional stuff on the roadside. But it may be instructive for the officials at the Environmental Health to have someone go out on the roads of the Cayman Islands, do a survey, identify those areas where the stuff is still there, and see if we can endeavor to have it cleaned up before the holiday season reaches us. We hear taxi drivers complain about it, and while you can explain to your passengers, especially if they are visitors to the island, that stuff is there to be picked up during the holiday season, it is still unsightly, and we need to do something about it. But that can only be done with the cooperation and help of everyone as well. I believe we have a caller on hold. We can take that caller before we reach headline news at 9 o'clock. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC. Hello?
Yeah, morning. How are you?
Yeah, but OC on the back, yeah, man. Look here. You see the thing with the pickup thing you're talking about?
Yes.
For the last 3 or 4 years, I noticed it in Cayman Brac, and I called out the radio about it, and I called it from the date clause because they know the dates, especially in Cayman Brac. The dates have not changed. And it's you know Cayman Brac. You got one road up and down, so you know when they're collecting, right? And people will fully do it. And I even spoke to the lady in charge up here. Charge them for littering, make them remove it themselves, or charge them for littering. It's a shame. And the only thing I stop it, if you use the law, but that's one thing that came on. We got more law than any other country in the world. And not what, well, one of them is being upheld, the one with the reed.
Enforcing, yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of the laws, you can do anything you want in the Cayman Island. All Dr. C, you talk about the important tire to recap and think, no, what you really mean to tell me? Like he said, all the tire that we try and get rid of you, and the important use one. But you can get any license to do anything to Cayman Island, you know. Hello?
Yep, I'm here. Listening to you.
And I told you know, I just lately found out that the hardest business to do in the Cayman Island is legal business. Because with the fees alone, you know, right now to get any kind of license, you got to have mandatory insurance. I mean, and the people that already got their jobs, that got insurance covered, they're opening their jobs. So that is all for their books.
And insurance isn't cheap.
Well, OCM 61, I pay $200 a month. That's a shame. When I look at the insurance premium in the States, I say, it makes me feel like a war crime, man. Then people pay $9, $10 a month, and I pay $200. And look, I don't think it covers dental and the eyes and all that, you know. That's the basics. Huh? It's a shame something got changed, and then you got to see the business that going on. I know you see it. Where they come in the cars, they're selling drugs, everything, food to drugs, anything you can think about. No license. And nobody not doing nothing but because half of them that doing it, they got somebody connected somewhere that they're not going to get touched.
Yeah, lots of informal trading going on, yes. I was on Eastern Avenue the other day, and I saw some ladies with their bags strapped across their back going from business to business, the hairdressing salons, the little small grocery stores and everything, doing their informal trading.
Yeah. Well, also another thing I got asked the governor, I got asked Lynn, if we can do this for us since the vote not going on for the referendum. I want to find out to give amnesty on the cars, on guns, on overstaying, on everything. So I want them to give us amnesty that we can smoke weed on the 19th of December all day, 24 hours, and don't get arrested. That's all I want for Christmas anyhow. All right?
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Enjoy the holidays. All the best. Folks, ready for me yet, Miss Susan? Okay. Want to remind you, we have no guests in the studio. We're going to go to headline news at 9 o'clock. In the meantime, our phone lines are still open. Toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And if you don't want to do any of those things at all, just follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We're going back to the control room for headline news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition. edition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
No guests in the studio. Phone lines are open, and I'm sharing with you Tradewinds newspapers. This one, the article Inadequate Docking. And this was Tradewinds Thursday in January of 1963, it looks like. A little bit blurred, but it looks like it may be 63. It says, some time ago, there was rumor that a deep water pier to provide up-to-date docking facilities was to be constructed here in Grand Cayman to accommodate large tourist and commercial ships and thus increase the tourist industry and build up trade between the Cayman Islands and other parts of the world. Later, a group of surveyors visited the island and thorough soundings were made at 3 points in order to determine the most suitable location for this project. Since then, nothing further has been heard. However, only a few days ago, an article was published in the Daily Gleaner stating that the British government had agreed to give a loan to the Cayman Islands in the sum of £300,000 for improvements to Owen Roberts Airfield. Of this amount, £200,000 would be a grant to the colony, and the remaining £100,000 would be a loan. So we never ever got anything fully free from the United Kingdom government. In this particular case, £300,000 for the upgrade of the Owen Roberts airfield. £100,000 would be by way of a loan. £200,000 was by way of a grant. Article goes on to say, we are delighted to learn that at least the benefits of improved modern transportation would be made available in due course. This will be certain to improve our economy and be a tremendous boost to our subsequent development. And we hope to see tangible results at an early date. In the immediate time, however, between now, the completion of the airport improvements and the construction of the deep water pier, remember what it says? A deep water pier in the Cayman Islands. We wonder what the government is planning to do about our present docking facilities, which to any the least are in deplorable conditions. Bear with me. Just got to make sure that this is large enough for me to see. Yuck. Which is in deplorable conditions. It says, since larger ships are now being owned by our islanders to further the island's booming trade, something should be done to make the docking of these ships safe. At both sections of the blah blah blah. Sorry, this becomes too. The print is just too blurry to read, and I apologize for that. We try to see if we can improve it in any way, shape, or form. Maybe yes, we can. Yes. Here we go. So it goes on to say, at both sections of the something now being sped up as docks, projecting. No, says the past attitude of government is returning to grant the necessary handling. This is okay. Bang. It is sincerely commended to the powers that be, in the hope that due consideration will be given to this very urgent matter. It is abundantly clear that without cargo ships calling and landing foodstuff and other necessities regularly, money spent on better air facilities will be of little value. So here what they were saying basically is that, yes, we're upgrading the airport, the runway facilities there. At the same time, we need to do the same thing for our seaports, not only for cargo, but for tourism as well, and that it needed to be a deep seaport. My take on this is that the soundings that were done at 3 locations, that eventually where the harbor now is in Georgetown, that is where the decision was made to build that dock. We know that that is the case because that is exactly where Mr. Berkeley Bush built it. Again, adding to the argument, and I'm not dispelling or discounting what arguments are being put forward now in terms of the protection of our environment, but the choice of the location in Georgetown Harbor for our port facilities at that point was made as a result, not on a whim and fancy, but made on the basis of soundings, made on the basis of suitability. And what was envisaged, there was a deep water port to be to be established there as well. So that was the call then. We know what happened later on. Mr. Berkeley Bush did build it, but at the end of the day, he was voted out of office as well, despite his successes. Okay, let's see what else we have for Tradewinds newspaper this time of the year. The Thursday, the 22nd of December, 1966. Jets arrive. And that's when the Jets arrive. Says, judging by the traffic jams, every car in Grand Cayman must have been at the airport on Saturday, and the crowds would indicate that every one of these cars must have been loaded with passengers to pay tribute to BWIA's newest accomplishment, Boeing 727 Sunjet service. The formal ceremonies included presentation of plaques depicting the Cayman Islands crest to the pilots. You heard me talk about that earlier, that would have been done. The pilots of the jet, an address from Walter Gerling, General Manager of BWIA in Trinidad, and introduction of Caymanians aboard the first jet flight. The main interest, however, was the jets themselves, and the crowd was given additional thrills when the captain flew over fields to show the enormous speed of the aircraft and the rocket-like takeoffs that are there. It goes on to say that before the Sunjet arrived in the morning, Mr. E.O. Panton welcomed the crowd, which was assembled. Administrator then wished everyone good morning and announced the Sunjet arrival. The landing having been made at 10:25. Amongst passengers were Mr. William Wood, Vance Crichton, Dora Watler, and Isabel Warren, who all said they had a wonderful flight home on the Sunjet. Goes about talking about the captain, as well as this is very shortly after arriving for the first Sunjet, the direct PWA flight. This is a Pacific flight, and the passengers, of course, they went to the Galleon Beach Hotel, which was the premier hotel in the Cayman Islands at that point in time. Christmas time in the Cayman Islands, if you believed in Santa coming today, says the plane. Those days we brought our Santa Claus by plane, I remember. Says the plane bringing Santa to Cayman arrives at Owen Roberts Airport on 2 p.m. Thursday, December the 22nd, 1965. Administrator will bring his Christmas message to the children at the airport. Santa will drive down Shedden Road and Cardinal Avenue, north as far as Pageant Beach Hotel, south as far as Esso Terminal, past Marin's Store, and the library around Maryland Road, stopping at Princess Royal Park. You remember that? Princess Royal Park? That is the site now where our Legislative Assembly sits on. And then at the Princess Royal Park, Santa Claus gave candy, and carols were sung to the children there as well. As far as singing is concerned, last week you heard us talk about serenading, marching in the Cayman Islands as well. And in speaking to people over the weekend, some believe that the marching may have continued on until the early 80s before it actually stopped as well. But we also had caroling that went on. And in this case, it says a local group has been practicing recently to sing a number of unusual Christmas carols during the festive season. They have been led by Mrs. Daniels, assisted by Mrs. Cook, whose husbands are contracted with the airport project. The group plans to perform at Emsley Memorial Church on Wednesday evening, December the 28th at 8 o'clock, and at the Seaview Hotel the same evening as well. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus.
Studio. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I couldn't be better, sir. A very interesting program today, as always.
Thank you very much. Compliments of the season to you.
And I wish you a God-blessed Christmas and a healthy New Year, Senor, to you, your family, friends, and enemies.
Thank you very much, sir. Same to you.
The subject you brought up about beaches.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're talking, if you want, just go and take a look at a little website called Cayman Beach Watch. You can bring that up on your computer there.
Yes, I believe you. Yeah, I think you shared it with me last week as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you will see there's an article going back to 1966 also, September 1966, dealing with beaches and access to beaches. I was unaware of this last one that you just read, the trade wind, so I'm going to ask you to send that to me. You have my email address.
Okay.
Send me that article link, please.
Sure.
Or the article itself. But, you know, in spite of all of these, as a little boy growing up, I used to go to the bathhouse,
mm-hmm.
which is next door to where the governor is now, his residence. And that was torn down and never replaced. We are worse off today 1919 going into 2020, in the type of representation that we have politically, than what our forefathers was. They had vision for Cayman and for Caymanians. Our people today have vision for foreigners and big business. They do not regard the Caymanian people tiddly squat. The public beach, you mentioned about that being secured by JCs. I was one of the members of JCs, many other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. Macfield mentioned that, yes. Uh-huh.
Right? And we saved that from being given away to the developer of Governor's Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2013, September again, the government, in this giveaway of the Cayman Islands to DART, the so-called NRA agreement that up to today is secret, when our road was stolen from us. And that theft was allowed to take place because the Caymanian people are too nice. They wouldn't come out and demonstrate and come out on the streets. People, we're going to lose more and more and more. There's nobody representing us willing to take the stand that is necessary. This last sitting of the LA, the Environmental Protection Fund has been raided by the government for $23 million. For what? To do what is an infrastructure project for DART and all these other people that are dumping garbage in it instead of using it to protect the environment. That is an infrastructure fund that our government doesn't charge these people. What we do is give them subsidies because they're not paying their way. And that's why we can't take care of the dump. So now what's happening? They're going to give it to DART. He's going to make money off of our garbage. It's going to cost us $500 million plus. And our people are sitting down and taking that like dumb lambs to the slaughter. And our Caymanian people will not stand up for what is right and for what's best for Cayman, and also what's best for the foreign investor in the long run. Because when we go from being passive to being aggressive, and that is coming in the new generation, and it can't come too soon for me. When that begins to occur, it's going to be a different face that people are going to see. You mentioned about beaches in Jamaica in one of the articles.
North Coast,
about
yeah.
Drawing comparison. The Jamaica people allowed beach by beach to be taken away. Today, the same law that we're fighting on January the 9th in the courts, against our government, by the way. This is our government not doing what is right for the Caymanian people by registering the public right-of-ways. In Jamaica, they took it away beach by beach. Today in Jamaica, there isn't one public sea bathing beach that a Jamaican can go to that he doesn't have to pay to get into.
Mr. Adam,
Yes,
but
sir.
we see Barbados facing similar challenges with developers and hotel owners. We see it in Turks and Caicos as well, and several other Eastern Caribbean countries. We speak of Jamaica, we speak of the Cayman Islands. Why is that? What is it about our political history or economic history or whatever that we see this trending throughout the Caribbean with islands that have beaches?
Very simple, sir. One word.
Okay.
Corruption. These developers come in with the big money, with the big suitcase, and they buy out our politicians. They buy out some of our senior people in business, and they buy the civil servants, and they get what they want. They continue to modify they're trying to now do with the Constitution the same thing they've done with the development plan law and the immigration law. It's specification modification. To suit certain people and certain things, they revise, and keeping the people out. They don't want to educate the people to understand how our Constitution is being brought down to the level of a little common law that can be revised at the whim of few people in the Legislative Assembly. And every one of them up in there, for me, are guilty. Every last one is guilty of abusing the sanctity of what the concept of a constitution is supposed to be. And I'm disappointed in every last one of them for what they just did, because they didn't bring it to the people. They didn't educate the people. A matter of fact, do you know that the Constitution Commission is not even quorate? They have failed to appoint people to that board. That tells you how much they don't consider it important. It's the same thing is true for the National Pensions Board. For 2018, they never had one meeting because the government failed to appoint members to the board. I'm sorry, sir, but me, trust government?
Okay.
Trust?
Now, speaking of the National Pension Board, that is separate and apart from the public pensions.
Oh, yeah, this isn't your pension board.
Yes,
no.
okay.
This is a private sector
Mhm.
pension board. Over $1 billion at stake, and they have no board overseeing that. But back to beaches. On people, on January the 9th at 9 o'clock, there's going to be at the court building, and the purpose of this is that government, number one, failed to register affidavits that were submitted. 500 affidavits went in, over 500, for public beach access registration in West Bay, Barkers, West Bay Beach, and South Sound. And they failed to register them. For they wouldn't answer the request from 2000. In 2017, after going back and pesterating for an answer, they finally answered and said no. The Attorney General, which is the government, the governor, England. England is part of this case. So this case is really, because this is dealing with poor governance, which they're supposed to take care of, and they're not doing it. They're going to court fighting against the people, the government, not wanting to register our right-of-ways.
Do you know what the government's defense is going to be in this, or will this all come out during the directional hearing that one of our previous callers spoke about? Do we know what the government's defense is?
Not too really sure, sir. No. But if you go on the website, Cayman Beach Watch, people, look at it there. You will see some. Yes, I do, come to think of it. Yeah, it's too long to get in, but there's some of it on the website already. Look at the document timeline, and you will see in there. And the rest of the documents leading up to what's going to happen on January the 9th will be put up on the website for the world to read. And besides that, there's this other new case. When this tunnel, 400 feet it started out, the one there by Gallery, West Shore Plaza, when that was going in, when we went to the hearing in front of the planning board, we informed them, look on your site survey, there's a registered right-of-way at the north side of Royal Palms, at the north side of the Carl Caymanian Hotel. This wall is going to block it. So the public is not going to have any access to the public access. And you cannot allow it. They overrode that. At that time, the DART representative said the 400 feet was only a pedestrian walkway to make it easier for the pedestrian. 400 feet? You want a pedestrian walkway, look at the Hyatt walkway. Or the Ritz. That's a pedestrian. But you don't need 400 feet. But we knew that they had in the back of their mind is to build this massive 80-story hotel that the premier last year, remember, or the co-premier, rather, the senior co-premier, Mr. Bush, promoted in his statement. Now they're going to build this 80-story pharaonic building there. They call it iconic, but it's like the pharaohs built all these massive pyramids. This is a pharaonic building. And that's what they did. That is the foundation. And we're going to drive under the DART building. That's what they're planning to do, sir.
Okay. Caller, we've got to go to a commercial break as usual now. Want to thank you very much for your input. I hope everyone took on what you're speaking about, and those who want to support the movement. 9th of January, the direction hearing will take place at the court's house. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Your sail, your
Record. No guests in the studio, so we have an open line this morning for you. Christmas was alive and well in the Cayman Islands, 1965, December 16th, 1965. Christmas tree for hospital. Toys and gifts for children and adult patients and staff of the hospital are being collected at Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, CIBC, for distribution by the Red Cross at Christmas time. Please help in this effort by placing your contributions under our tree. So there we had it. One company, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, set up a Christmas tree. You could leave a gift under it, and that gift would be distributed. Those gifts would be distributed to patients at the hospital in the Cayman Islands, children and adult patients at the hospital in Grand Cayman as well. I believe we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Woolsey.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Just
Season
fine.
greetings to you.
Season greetings to you also.
Thank you.
Blessed Christmas greetings. I just want that I know I've been listening as much as I could. You're sure excellent stuff. I'm learning a lot, and I'm glad that three ladies will be able to get some kind of a move toward resolution of this very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Regards to different things that's happening. Over the years, what has happened to us is our tremendous dependence on consumption-based taxation only, and that leads to enough is never enough. More is always better, and it creates tremendous. People sit back and not realize it creates tremendous problems. Dependence only on consumption, mainly consumption-based taxation. I just like to stick with that because everybody knows my solution to that problem. I've said it over and over. I'm not prepared to accept any other. I just wondered about this referendum thing with the court going to this court, to the council hearing or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
This referendum is against this something that this present government is doing. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So, in other words, is there, number one, a timeline that hearing in the court, whatever we choose to call it, I've forgotten the term now, comes to resolution? Is there a timeline that Her Majesty's government in the Cayman Islands can continue to function as the political directorate, the premier and the rest would like to continue with things? Because it is important that they get their agenda more or less carried out, or get it, into place, and then is there some timeline that it must be done, and then there. At
this point in time, no, there isn't, because the courts have now agreed to hear the case, and you speak of the government's program to get it done, but we also have to recognize that the government is bound by, number one, the Constitution of the Cayman Islands, and some of the challenges that are being brought forward based on what is contained in our Constitution and the protection and guarantees that our Constitution provide to us. So until those hurdles have been passed, the government does not have the ability to move forward with this.
No, I'm not talking about this alone, because.
Oh, you're talking about other things.
Everything, because the concentration on this is, taking up time that could be spent on planning other things, whatever.
Well, I'm sure that that things are continuing. That it's not all centered on the cruise berthing facility, but other things are being done at the same time. Yes, I don't think the government is being hampered in any way in continuing with other programs.
Yes, well, some others may have different opinions of that, but
well, they have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yes. That is really the minor part of it. What I'm saying is this: if this drags on into the next elections, then the government that is chosen, then it might be the same one return power. Would they have to have a new referendum or have a new? Because is it confined to this term of the government, or is it something that could carry on forever? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that it is.
Would they need to get another 6,000 signatures and redo this thing or not?
I don't think so. Caller. It's not confined to the term of this particular government. I don't believe so at all. And the one thing that I would say, and this is my personal opinion on it, I don't believe that anyone would want this to carry on into the next election, and it then became an election topic, because what we have seen so far has been a huge increase in the number of people who appear to be opposed to the cruise berthing facilities, based mainly on environmental concerns. It will allow for that number to grow, but not only that, it will also allow for those persons then to bring the cruise berthing facilities into the election debate. Look what just happened in the UK as far as Brexit is concerned, right?
I understand that.
So I don't think that anyone who's politically astute would not want this to go into the 2021 elections in the Cayman Islands.
Right now, we see that it is has become, if I may say so, a great risk, a very political thing. Anyone who doesn't think so is really sticking their head in the sand, as the ostrich did, even further than that. Anyhow, the point I'm making is if suppose the government changes completely then, and this referendum would still be binding on a new government, or is it?
Well, a new government may come in and say, "Listen, we're scrapping this whole idea of a enhanced cargo and cruise port facility and scrap it all together." That would, to a certain extent, put it to rest.
Because people have asked me a lot of questions about the Seavis Island. They're very confused with it, as are some of our people here too, because it has caused great division. No one can say that is not so. Great division amongst our people. In fact, I've never seen any election cause this kind of division has not even taken place yet.
But caller, one thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if we view the referendum as a yes or a no situation, right? It's quite possible that the no's, those who are against the port, would not want the referendum to continue if the government decides. But yet at the same time, the person, the yes vote may say, yes, we want it to continue, because if we get a yes vote, we can move forward as well, on it. So it depends on which group that you're talking about there.
Well,
yeah.
I speak to both groups. As you said, the numbers may increase for the no's. That may also increase for the yes.
That's quite possible.
Things unravel, and many things are coming to light that wasn't there before, as we understand. You get more and more information, which some says no information and some say good information. But that remains to be seen. That's why I said it has become very political, and it's very disappointing to me to see it come out that way. But divisions between people is incredible now, very incredible. And
it's unfortunate that we have a lull during the Christmas season, but then it's going to ramp up again in the new year.
I don't know much about it.
We've only delayed it.
Anyhow, yes, you're right. As I'm saying, it just seems to me that this thing could be going on forever, and it is frustrating the men who might plan around this. We've got to understand that it is a very, very important thing, the cruise business. It's very important, and many people don't understand really the ramifications of it and what it does. It's a complex issue, and at the same time, a simple one if you think about things simply. I'm a realist, so I like to think of the simple way to solve things. But as I said, I just wondered if this thing could carry on forever, and it seems as if it might.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. As well, Ms. Susan, you want to take the break now? Or let's take our last commercial break for the morning. When I return, we will talk about the graduation of 1966, somewhere in December of 1966, the graduation from the Cayman Government Secondary Grammar School, held at the Emsley Memorial Church on the 13th of December, 1966. Please stay. newspaper dated the 22nd of December, 1966. The Trade Winds newspaper that I have courtesy of Miss Joellen Thompson, who I believe was able to get them from the late Mrs. Ardith Smith, who was a reporter for West Bay, as well as an employee of the Trade Winds newspaper as well. And that earlier story about the Hustler, the details about the Hustler, I would imagine that article was probably written by Miss Ardith Smith as well, because the builders of the Hustler and the owners of it were related to her as well. So I can only take credit for sharing what's in the Trade Winds newspaper. Credit goes to Miss Joellen Thompson for allowing me to have access to them. And of course, she has had access to them by virtue of Miss Ardith Smith sharing them with her as well. So, the graduation exercises at the Cayman Islands Government Secondary Grammar School. And bear in mind now, the Cayman Islands Secondary Grammar School was a school that was taken over, which was the prep school, I believe, run by the Presbyterian Church. I think I shared that with you a few weeks ago as well, and then taken over by the government. So the Government Secondary Grammar School was held at the Emsley Memorial Church on December the 13th, 1966. There were 5 boys and 3 girls in the GCE class of 1966 and 10 girls in the commercial class. Mr. Desmond Watler, District Assistant Administrator, addressed the graduates, and Mrs. Watler presented the certificates. Reverend Raymond Koch preached the sermon, and scripture lessons were read by Betty Ebanks and Dwight Carter. Prayers were offered by Reverend Lewin Williams, and Reverend George Hicks pronounced the benediction. After the singing of the Queen, the graduates lined the front walk of the church, where they were congratulated by a large audience before traveling for Seaview Hotel, where dinner was served for 74 persons, followed by a dance. So here's the list of the graduates then. The group 1, commercial, we had Andrea Bush, Agnes Berry, and Patricia Ebanks. Group 2, GCE, Stephen Tomlinson. Now we're Dr. Steve Tomlinson. He was the valedictorian. Alexander Gray, Charles Winton, Karen Tomlinson, Harding Watler, Carol Ebanks, Heber Arch. Group 3, commercial, Aline Marin, Judy Ann Miller, Betty Evans, and Betty Evans was the valedictorian for the commercial Group 3. Commercial, Linda Ebanks, GCE, Andrea Farrington. Commercial, Ardith Abrana Rivers, and not pictured was Anadine Hides as well. So those were the graduates. Very familiar names. Some of you, family members, will recognize them as well. And that was a graduating class, 16th of December, 1966. We have 2 callers. We're going to try to squeeze 2 callers in. We have about 8 minutes, so we want to take 2 callers. The first caller, bear in mind, someone else waiting behind you. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Yes, sir. Just quickly. You're talking about the cars and the tires and different things.
Oh, yes.
Government usage of funds. Part of the problem is government collects funds, and this is going on from the Environmental Protection Fund.
We're getting a lot of background static from you there.
No? Is it better now?
Much better, yes.
Okay. Yes, they set a law that say there's funds going to be collected for a specific purpose. You were talking about ring fence use of funds. $1,250 is collected for every used car that comes in below a certain value, which is supposed to be the disposal fee. They collect money for tires, which is supposed to be a disposal fee. And batteries is another disposal fee. And there are other things. I wonder maybe if you could, as part of your research, you do a lot of good research and they would give it to you quicker than someone else. If you got from them how much money is collected, and then with the accrual accounting system that they have, they are supposed to have a breakout. Well, how much does it cost us to get rid of a car? Do we make money on it? I know there's some issue about shipping cars and, you know, the crushed cars now and all that. But if you collect some money for a certain purpose, then if you don't use it, you have violated the law. Because if you say you're going to take it and that's the expenses you need to get rid of the tire or whatever you do, then you're violating the law. And, you know, in some countries, California, one, which is a state, but they had environmental and development funds, and the state was doing the same tricks as we do here, and their politics was not using the money for the purpose for which it was collected, and they were sued, and the people won the case against the government. I wonder here, do your research. How much a year do they collect? How much do they allocate to that, if they even do it? To the disposal of those items.
Right.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. What else did we have in the... no more calls? Okay. We'll cut the calls off. Only about 6 minutes left. What else did we have? A photograph here. We don't want to leave the BRAC out of this. These discussions. Your Cayman BRAC reporter at that time was Mr. Keith Parker Tibbetts Jr. And here is a photograph. Mr. Bernard Watson, 3 years old, on the 3rd of December, stands by his mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Wellington Watson. Do we know who that family is? I suspect that they're related to none other than that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. But I will confirm more of that at a later date and time. What else? We had Christmas greetings that were sent by the Secretary of State for the Colonies. In those days, they were seemed to be a little friendly. It says the following Christmas message to merchant seamen are hereby published for general information from the Secretary of State for the Colonies. To all of you compelled to spend Christmas away from home, and to those in hostels and clubs throughout the colonies who devote themselves to your comfort and welfare, I send my warmest good wishes for Christmas and the New Year from the Minister of State, Shipping Board of Trade. As the minister having a special responsibility for shipping, I am very happy to send these season greetings to all seafarers who are celebrating Christmas overseas. We at home think of you specially at this time and hope that you are enjoying a warm welcome with traditional fare and good cheer in merchant naval clubs and hostels all over the world. I also send my warm thanks to all those who help and serve in the clubs and hostels. Best wishes. So greetings were sent out to our seamen all over the world during the Christmas time. And we know that Christmas in the Cayman Islands, some men would spend Christmas home while others were shipping out at the same time. And if you spent one Christmas away from home, then you ensured, many times they ensured that the next Christmas that they would spend, at home as well. But this, again, was a time of the year when seamen look forward to coming home, bringing all those nice gifts for their family members and everyone looking forward to it. And at the same time, you had some men who decided, to ship out. Oh, before I go, I almost forgot this one. Talking to Mr. Niels Godfrey, and he said to me, I heard you mention the basket parties that they used to have in the old courthouse building, which is now the museum building on the waterfront in Georgetown, Grand Cayman. And I am told by Mr. Niels Godfrey, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me calling his name because I have to give him credit for it. He said that the whole idea of a basket party started in Cayman, I believe it was in 1954, and it was something that was introduced by men coming home from sea. Now, what a basket party entailed was it would be a night for a dance, and everyone would cook something and bring it to the dance, and it was called a basket party. So basket meant that you brought something in your basket to share with others as well. And we had such an occasion. It was a little bit of dancing too. Niels Godfrey was dancing when he got his award given by Mr. Rennie Barnes, and it was handed out by MLA Mr. White, MLA and Councillor Mr. White, on Saturday evening at Rennie's place on Barnes Road, where we have the old Caymanians get together and talk about history of the Cayman Islands. Rennie has a place there that is adorned with all sorts of historical items, photographs, and everything. I even saw old Victrola there the other night. Good camaraderie as well. So the whole idea, basket party, introduced in the Cayman Islands, 1954, introduced by men coming home from sea. You cook something, you took it to the basket party. There was a dance, there was drinking and everything. I don't know about how many fights took place, but even when we fought in the Cayman Islands because of being inebriated, the next day everybody was friends again. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate toward the charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.